Good evening. How are you this evening? My name is Laura DiDomenzio, and I am one of the leaders here on the Essentially Powerful team. And tonight we're going to talk about making good hair choices, aka natural hair care for everyone. So I am no expert on this. Okay, I am no expert. And as you are jumping on, I would love for you to please tell me who you are, where you're from, and just say hey. So I'm no expert, but this is something that I get really excited about and actually kind of borderline obsessed with, hair care. For as long as I can remember, I've been trying to have perfect hair. And I've tried every kind of hair product out there. I have done hair color, I've done different treatments, I've had different hairstyles, you name it, I've done it. But when our son was born, almost 4 years ago, I really started to think about the ingredients that were in all of our products, and I realized, oh my gosh, there's so many chemicals. Like, what are we doing? So many harsh chemicals. What are we doing? And I went on a quest to kind of get rid of all of that, which I'm sure most of us here on this team are doing every single day. So as you guys are jumping on, please say hey, tell me where you're from, get acquainted with the likes and the hearts in case there's something I say that you want to kind of like say yes to, no to, whatever. And as I'm going through, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments and I will do my best to go back and answer them afterwards. So this hasn't been a super easy journey per se to find natural hair care and kind of make it work, but it's one that's super worth it. So if you guys will just kind of like hang out with me tonight, learn a few new things and try something new, then we can definitely get you to where you want to be. Okay? So, so tonight, the first thing we're going to do a little science lesson about our hair. Then we were going to discuss common products that many of us use today and like what those do to your hair. And then we're going to just discuss the natural kind of chemical-free or harsh chemical-free products that you can use. And I'm going to do my best to answer the questions you have. If I don't know something, then you know, we can look it up together and discover some more, okay? So if you're ready to get started, show me some hearts, show me some thumbs up. Okay, here we go. All right, so science time. All you greens out there are gonna love this. Our hair, okay, is made up mostly of a protein called keratin. And it grows from an organ under the skin called the follicle, which, I don't know, do you guys already know this? Give me some thumbs up if you already know this stuff, right? The only living part of a strand of hair is the part found in the follicle as it's growing. Everything else, the rest, is considered dead because it has no biochemical activity. Okay, so that's pretty interesting if you think about it. One strand of hair is made of 3 layers, okay? So we have the cuticle, we have the cortex, that's where the keratin is, and we have the medulla. The hair on our heads serves as a heat insulator and as a coolant, which I did not know. I think that's pretty awesome. And it helps protect us from sun's UV rays. The follicle shape determines your hair texture. So the shape of your follicle decides if you have straight hair, wavy hair, or curly hair. And then follicle size, so that's like how, you know, like wide it is or whatever, that determines how thick your hair is. Well, the thickness, I guess, of the strands of your hair. On average, we lose 50 to 100 strands of hair from our scalp per day. The average lifespan of a strand of hair is 2 to 7 years. And the hair on our scalp goes through 4 phases. So those 4 phases are the anagen phase, which is the growing phase, and that lasts from the 2 to 7 years, and it determines the length of our hair. So depending how long your anagen phase is how long your hair can grow. Over time, the length of the stage actually decreases, which can result in weaker, thinner hair after each cycle. And so therefore it's important to eat really nutrient-rich foods so that you can keep this stage longer. The catagen phase, okay, this is the regression phase. This lasts for 10 days. So this is when your hair follicle shrinks and it actually detaches. Then we have the telogen phase, which is your resting phase, and it lasts for about 3 months. And while your old hair is resting, new hair begins to grow. And finally, the exogen phase, this is the shedding phase. And this is the time between when your resting hair reaches its terminal position and when it finally detaches and falls out. So that's pretty interesting and kind of gives you a little bit better understanding of why your hair does what it does. So, common products, common run-of-the-mill products. So think about our daily routine of showering, cleansing, moisturizing, and putting on makeup, right? And have we read the labels on some of those products? Some of you that are newer to our team probably still have some of these things laying around. Those of us who've been using Young Living for quite a while, we've probably been able to switch out some of the scarier things from our daily routine. But even things that you might think are totally fine, read the labels because you just never know, right? So we can, especially as women, we can put on more than 500 chemicals per day. That's so scary to me. 500, and I should say even too, like we really need to focus on harsh chemicals is like really that's what we need to be super focused on, right? When we want to make this switch to safer. So many of those can be found in our hair care products, such as our shampoo, our conditioner, our gels, our hairsprays, anything. Of all the ingredients in those, some of the most worrisome are sodium lauryl sulfate, which is what makes your shampoo foam. Also tetrasodium and propylene glycol. Also parabens. Really need to be careful and look for parabens. So any of those you can Google to kind of see what they do, what they're for, and why you really don't want them in your products. On a small scale, these could just irritate your eyes or your skin, but on a larger scale, over an extended amount of time, they could really cause serious illness, and we might not even realize it. So let's talk about shampoo. Something that I didn't realize, and I bet you didn't either, was that shampoos really didn't become popular until the late 1920s and early 1930s, when a man named Breck came out with a campaign featuring his Breck girls. And they all had these amazingly gorgeous hairstyles. They were like basically the Kardashians, I guess, of the 1920s and 1930s, if we're talking about hairstyles, okay? So from that point forward, women have just been obsessed with having perfect hair, which has led to billions with a B, billions of dollars being spent on all kinds of shampoos, conditioners, and styling products. Many of us have developed the habit of washing our hair every single day, and sometimes even twice a day. When I was in high school, I used to wash my hair twice a day. What was I doing? I don't know. Wasting water. We freak out at the first sign of oil, and we need to know that the waxy oil that's on our scalp, that our scalp produces, is called sebum, and it's actually a good thing. We need it. Our scalps need it in order to grow beautiful hair. And the job of the synthetic chemicals in our shampoos are, I shouldn't say all of our shampoos and conditioners, but our, like store-bought stuff, is that they get rid of the sebum. They just get rid of it. They strip your scalp, they strip your hair of it. And then that in turn dries out your hair, okay? And it results in us needing a commercial conditioner because now our hair is too dry. And so we need to condition it to put back the moisture that we just stripped out. That doesn't make sense, does it? And so what's really crazy is that because the sebum has been stripped from our scalp, then our scalp goes into overproduction mode and produces even more, which then causes us to need to wash our hair more, which then causes us to need to condition our hair more. And it just keeps going in this crazy vicious cycle. Okay? So, what are you guys thinking of this so far? Likes, dislikes, anything, comments? It's so crazy. So, I personally, over the past couple years, have been able to switch to a method called no-poo. No-poo meaning like no chemicals, no additives, no extra stuff, right? And so I don't use any type of commercial shampoo. Instead of removing the sebum from your hair or scalp, the no-poo method works with it. And it kind of helps your scalp to balance out and come up with like a good level of production, okay? So by not stripping this precious oil, your head won't overproduce it, and it will only produce what you absolutely need. I know many of us have concerns about this method, right? We worry that our hair is going to smell. We worry that it's going to look dirty or be dirty or whatever. Some people think their hair is too thin or it's too thick or it's too curly, or some people are like, I dye my hair. How am I going to do this? And all of these are valid concerns, okay? But I'm just looking because I'm not seeing any comments. So if you guys are commenting, I just want to let you know I'm just not seeing them. So, you know, these are all really valid concerns, but if you're willing to take a little bit of time to just train your hair, then there's probably a system that will work for you, okay? If you're willing to try new products and just kind of give it a little bit of time. You just need to make it through a little transition period, and during that time, you can just wear a lot of ponytails or a lot of braids, or, you know, just invest in some bobby pins and you'll be okay. And let me tell you, I've made it through, and if you do too, it's totally worth it. So to find out which no-poo method is best for you, okay, we're gonna do a little experiment, okay? So what I would like you guys to do is to grab a glass of water, okay, if it's close to you, if you can grab one, or if you can run into the kitchen and get a little cup of water or a glass of water, okay? And I would like you, okay, if your hair is clean, if your hair is kind of like, it can be like, you know, a day old or whatever, if it's a little dirty, you know, if you're getting toward that point where it really needs to be washed, then wait until you wash your hair, right? You're just going to take a couple of strands out of your head, okay, and you're going to put them in that glass of water. So if your hair floats, then your hair has low porosity, okay, so that's like the pores, okay, how much they're open on your hair strands. If it sinks quickly, then that means you have high porosity, and it's probably pretty damaged. And if it kind of sinks slowly, then your hair is fairly normal. Another test you could do is to take a strand of your hair and run your fingers from the bottom. So you can do this with any strand of hair, it doesn't matter if clean or dirty. You can run it from the bottom to the top, okay? And if it feels bumpy as you're going up, then your hair is high porosity. And if it's smooth, your hair is low porosity. So kind of picture that strand of hair, like if you were to magnify into it, if it's high porosity, then it's gonna kind of look like a Christmas tree growing down. But if it's low porosity, it's gonna be fairly just smooth, okay? So if your hair has low porosity, then it may look healthy, but it may not have much volume or elasticity. The cuticles of your hair are closed, so it takes a little more effort to get it to absorb moisture. So that means that products might just sit on top of your hair, and when you condition it, you want to use lighter oils like argan oil or like a grapeseed oil, and then maybe even heat them up with a blow dryer or a warm towel. And reducing buildup is really key for you. So you want to wash it with one of the shampoos I'm going to talk about from Young Living, or you might want to try using a clay or apple cider vinegar or applesauce, okay? If your hair has high porosity, then while it absorbs a lot of moisture, it has a really hard time holding on to it. So it probably looks dull, it probably feels dry, and you probably notice that your hair dries quickly and gets a little bit, or maybe even a lot, frizzy. Getting protein into your hair is going to be really important for you, and so you can do egg washes, but you don't want to put too much protein in. This is kind of where you have to balance it out, okay? You don't want to put too much protein in, because then your hair can get too stiff and it can break. So deep conditioning treatments are your friend, and using oils like coconut and aloe vera gel are really good options for you, okay? So I'm just gonna open up my computer really quick because I'm not sure if you guys are asking questions. I just wanna make sure that I am able to answer them if you have them, okay? So the next part, if you have normal porosity, then your hair is probably fabulous and you can just keep doing what you're doing, unless your products have a lot of harsh chemicals, then we need to talk, okay? We still need to change it up. But you're probably not gonna have to do too much to change it up. And if you decide that you'd wanna switch to the full no-poo method, then that's, it's probably not gonna be very difficult for you, all right? So when you're deciding how to proceed, you want to make sure you keep in mind your pH levels, the pH levels of like certain items that you're going to use. So like baking soda, you have to remember, is really basic, and apple cider vinegar is acidic. And you want to kind of try to keep your hair as neutral as possible. So that would be a 7 on the pH scale. But that we're going to get to in a minute. So before I talk about kind of like the DIY side of this, we're going to talk about ready-made products, okay? Because if you are a person who just needs it done and easy, then Young Living has got you covered already, okay? So, first and foremost, before I talk to you about what you're gonna put on the outside, we really need to talk about what you're putting on the inside, because we cannot look our best on the outside if our insides are not functioning properly. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna tell you about 4 products that I think are really important for excellent internal health, which is then going to kind of shine through your hair, okay? So first and foremost, always and forever for me, is Ningxia Red. If you're not already drinking 1 to 2 ounces of Ningxia Red a day, what are you waiting for? It's amazing, okay? It's our super antioxidant drink. It supports every system of our body. It's made with the wolfberries from the Ningxia province of China. And it has the same antioxidant power as 100 oranges, 814 blueberries, 22 carrots, almost 11 pounds of spinach. I mean, it just goes on and on. So that is going to really help you get everything in check, running optimally, and it's going to have no choice but to shine through everything, okay? Another supplement that I really suggest is Life 5, which is now Life 9, okay? So if you still have Life 5, or if you're switching over to Life 9, okay? That's Young Living's probiotic, and so it supports a healthy gut. And it's really important that our digestive systems be working correctly, okay? So that we can have all the good bacteria that we need, and then when that's all doing its job, then we can have our hair and our skin and our nails look as good as they can, okay? Sulfurzyme. Sulfurzyme is one that I take religiously every single day. So this is my favorite one next to Ningxia Red. It has wolfberries in it, so if you're drinking Ningxia Red and taking Sulfurzyme, it's like a double whammy, okay? And it also has MSM, which is a naturally occurring organic form of sulfur that our bodies need to maintain structure of proteins, to protect cells and cell membranes, and replenish the connections between cells, and preserve molecular framework, okay, and connective tissue. So it really supports the immune system, the liver, circulation, proper intestinal function, and it gets rid of free radicals. And you'll definitely see a difference if you start taking sulfurzyme every day, okay? And finally, I would really suggest Omega Gies, however, you guys could say it however you want. That's our fish oil supplement. And it combines omega-3 fatty acids, such as DHA and EPA, and also coenzyme Q10, so CoQ10, which our body uses to produce energy for cell growth and maintenance. It also contains vitamins D and E, and there's research that says that taking fish oil supplements can really improve the shininess and the strength of your hair. So definitely something to think about, right? Okay, so those are the internal things that I would suggest. Now, when it comes to actually washing and conditioning your hair, Young Living makes some really great shampoos that are considered low poo, okay? Not fully no poo, but low poo. You don't have to worry about any of the nasty chemicals I mentioned before. No sodium lauryl sulfate, no parabens, none of that stuff, okay? It's awesome. And it comes in lavender mint daily shampoo. There's a Copaiba vanilla moisturizing shampoo and a lavender shampoo. And also, I really do like the kid scent shampoo. I know it's for the kids, but you know what? I use it on my daughter, and she has long hair. She's almost 3, and she doesn't need a conditioner or anything, so it's really great for your hair. So I don't see why you couldn't use that one too, okay? My favorite, though, out of all 4 of those would be the Copaiba vanilla shampoo. And I use it sometimes if I just need something really quick or if I'm traveling. Okay, and each of the shampoos, minus the kid scents, does have a conditioner counterpart. Okay, so you can get the conditioners in all of the same, fragrances. I don't even want to say fragrance because that's not there, but formulations. Okay, and you could use the same with the same, or you can mix and match them for whatever your hair might need. All right, so those are kind of your options with Young Living products for washing and conditioning. Now, if we're going to talk a little bit DIY, okay, and this is still going to include some of our oils, okay, some of our essential oils too. So this is the method I use, and I love it. You might love it too. You just have to give it a try. So when I mix up my shampoo, I take a squirt bottle, okay? You can get one of those Perry bottles that they give you in the hospital when you have a kid, or you can go to the dollar store and get like a ketchup or mustard squirt bottle, just something that you can squirt into your hair, okay? And so this is really simple. I just mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Now this is where you kind of have to think about the pH level of everything, okay? So 1 tablespoon of baking soda with 8 ounces of water. That's it. I put it in the squeeze bottle. And then I like to add tea tree oil because it's really great at cleansing the scalp, okay? But if your scalp's a little bit on the dry side, maybe you would like to add cedarwood or lavender or sandalwood. Geranium and patchouli are also really good options. If your scalp's a little bit on the oily side, you might want to add peppermint or lemon or lavender. Okay, you only need a couple drops of oil. You don't need a lot, and you can mix them together depending on what you want. You can just do it for scent. You can do it for support. It's totally up to you. Another really great blend that I love to put in my shampoo is Melrose, and that one has rosemary. It has tea tree, it has clove, and niaouli, which I can't say what those do compliantly, so you're just gonna have to Google it, okay? When I apply that mixture, that baking soda and water mixture to my head, it's a liquid, okay? It's not gonna be a paste or anything, it's a liquid. And you just get it right in your roots, and you just massage it really well. You get it all over the scalp, all in the roots. You massage it everywhere you need it. And then I just let it I let it sit for a couple minutes. And the more you can massage it in there, you kind of get that circulation going. That's going to get your blood flowing, and that's going to really help your hair just grow and be healthy. Just getting the circulation going. Like literally, you can just massage your head right now while you're watching me, and getting that circulation going is going to be so beneficial for you. Okay, so I do that, and I let it sit while I like soap up, or I shave my legs or something. I just give it a couple minutes to really like get in there and do its job. And I rinse it out thoroughly, get it all out there. Okay. If baking soda doesn't seem to be working for you, you might want to try an egg wash. And so you would just beat 1 to 3 eggs, but remember, you don't want too much protein because that can dry your hair out. So you kind of have to feel it out. Start with less is more, and then work your way up. And it also depends on how much hair you actually have too. And you want to apply that to your wet hair. And if you don't like the smell of eggs, you can just add some essential oils like the ones I mentioned above, okay? And leave it on for 5 to 15 minutes. And then rinse it out with cool water. It has to be cool water, because if you use warm or hot, it's going to cook the egg. Like, no joke, it will cook the egg, and then it'll be an egghead. Literally, you'll be an egghead, okay? I've done it. Like, don't do it. I've already done that. So the egg is great because it not only washes out the oils in your hair, but it also does condition your hair. So that's kind of like a 2-for-1 deal if you want to try the egg. So once you've figured that out, once you've decided if you're going to use baking soda or whatever, and I mentioned a few other things you could use. I mentioned clay and things like that in the beginning. Then you want to condition, okay? This is also where you need to balance out the pH, okay? So you've used something that's really one way, and now you gotta get it the other way. So I use apple cider vinegar. And so again, I take that spray bottle or that squirt bottle. I do 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to 8 ounces of water, and I throw in some oils. So I like to add in lavender. I like to add geranium. I really love to add geranium because it smells great and it's really supportive of your skin. I also like to add frankincense because that's supportive of your skin, but it's also great for supporting you emotionally when you need some extra grounding. Maybe you have like a big day coming up and you just need to kind of get yourself centered for it. And also I really like to add rose oil when I just want to give myself a little extra love. I just put a drop of rose in there, or rosemary is another great one too. And you just focus though on the ends this time. When you put in the apple cider vinegar, you just kind of put it on the ends, okay? You put a little bit in the roots just to kind of get rid of whatever baking soda might be left over, and then focus on the ends. Let it sit for a couple more minutes, and then rinse it out really well. And then I like to turn the shower to cool so that it kind of closes all the cuticles and your hair gets nice and smooth, okay? So it's really simple, you guys, super simple. So then in between, okay, on my in-between days, because I only wash my hair once a week now, okay, like literally Saturdays is hair washing day. So, but on the days, during the days, in between, sometimes I need a little cleanup because it does start to look a little oily in certain places, especially like right here. All right, so I like to use a dry shampoo, but I do not like to buy dry shampoos at the store because they smell chemically, they're aerosol, they're gross, they usually leave like some type of white residue, and then I look like I'm prematurely graying, like I don't know, so I don't use those. I just make my own, and it's really, really easy, okay? You can use an old powder container, like whatever you use for your face powder. If you use face powder, you can use a shaker, like one that you would put maybe, flour or cinnamon and sugar in for your baking. And you can just mix it up in one of those. It's literally equal parts. Well, if you're blonde, okay, if you have light colored hair, then you're just going to use cornstarch or arrowroot powder, or you can mix the two together. And that will be fine. If you're blonde, you don't need to add any coloring to it. If you have darker hair like I do, then what I do is I also add cocoa powder to it. Or if you have reddish hair, then you can add cinnamon to it. And that's gonna give it just a little bit of color so that when you apply it into your roots, it's not going to be obvious. The way that I apply it is I will just kind of tap some of it into like the cover of my shaker. I have a brush that used to be an old blush brush or whatever. I put it on there and then I actually brush it right into my roots. I like it best at night before I'm going to bed, but I have found that it's totally fine to use in the morning. Like, it doesn't really stick around. I do it before I take my shower and then I just wrap my hair up really well. So like I was saying, equal parts of your base to make your base, and then so just like 1 tablespoon to 1 tablespoon, and then you could add your tints in there. And you also might really want to add some oils in there. So you might want to add frankincense, geranium, lavender, rose, any oils that you find helpful. So you're hearing me say the same oils over and over again. Okay, so these are the best oils to be using for hair care. So yeah, it's super easy. If you're using a chemically gross, nasty, dry shampoo, guys, don't worry. You don't need to. It's super easy. You probably have everything you need right now in your cabinet. So, and if you don't, I do. I'll send you some. I don't know. So then let's see what else. A couple more things here. So if you would like to do a deep conditioner or hair mask every now and again, okay, it's nice to pamper yourself. It's nice to kind of have a little spa night once in a while. And there's really a lot of great natural products you can use to do this. So you can start super simple. You can take 1 avocado, mash it up, or you can mash up 1 banana, add a tablespoon of a carrier oil like coconut or sweet almond oil or jojoba, or even our own V6, the Young Living V6 oil. You can even add maybe like a teaspoon of coconut milk, and then you can add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of honey, and 3 drops of an essential oil of your choice. You just mix it all together and you massage it onto your scalp all the way through, leave it on your hair for 20 minutes, and then rinse it out completely. So you just take an avocado or banana, one of those, mash it up really well, add 1 tablespoon of a carrier oil, and then if you want to pump it up a little bit, you can add 1 teaspoon of coconut milk. From there, you would add in 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of honey, and then 3 drops of your essential oil of your choice. Okay, so there's a few ingredients involved, but it's really simple ingredients that you already probably have. If you are like me in any way, shape, or form, you have probably been dreaming of having long flowing locks like the Little Mermaid for a long time. And so there is a way that you can create a serum that will promote healthy hair growth. So you can just start with a 1/2 cup of castor oil, which I know is a little sticky, it's a little thick, but castor oil is a great one for promoting your healthy hair growth, whether it's this hair or actually even your eyelashes, okay? So you start with 1/2 cup of that, and then you also might want to use something a little lighter, such as jojoba oil or coconut oil or V6 from Young Living. And then don't use any more though than 1/2 cup of that. So you can use 1/2 cup of the castor oil and 1/2 cup of another lighter carrier kind of together to thin it out. And then to that base, you're going to add 10 drops each of cedarwood, rosemary, lavender, and peppermint. Okay? And you can apply that daily as your hair prefers, or even just before washing. And if you do it right before you wash, just make sure you leave it on for about an hour. And finally, guys, I've been seeing, now this isn't really DIY, this is another Young Living product, but I think it's so cool, I need to share it, okay? Recently, I've been seeing some people posting about using the Mira shave oil, okay, the Mira shave oil, they've been using it in a lot of different ways, okay? So some people are using it to shave their legs or whatever, but some people are using it in their hair. They're using it as a heat shield, like when they're blowing their hair out, or they're using it to kind of smooth split ends, or as like a finisher once they've styled their hair. And it also kind of gets rid of those like little flyaways and stuff like that. I actually used some right before I came on here, and it smells so good. It smells so, so good. And one of the things I really found interesting though is that one person has been using it as her eye makeup remover, and she's noticed that her lashes are actually looking fuller and longer. So that is something to think about. The Mira Shave Oil. If you don't love it as an oil to shave your legs, or you've never tried it for that, try it for your hair, okay? So I'm sure there's a lot of other products you guys want to know about gels and hairsprays and shine sprays and whatever, but we don't have time for that tonight. But, you know, we could always, you know, talk about it more at another time or in the comments or whatever. And also, too, guys, you can do a really super quick Google search and find everything you ever wanted to know about DIYing those things. So, every single one of the oils that we talked about and the pre-made products that I spoke about can be purchased from Young Living, okay? If you are already a member, which if you're watching this live, you are, then you can order them right now by placing a quick order. However, I think the best way for you to get them is through your Essential Rewards order. So if you do that, you'll not only have all of these amazing products delivered to your door, but you're also going to earn back your points, right? And you can spend them later to get more free product and maybe even some extra free goodies as well, depending on how much you spend. So if you're not already taking advantage of the Young Living Essential Rewards program, I super suggest that you get back to the person who enrolled you or who is your sponsor for Young Living, who helped you set up your account initially, and ask them for all those amazing details and ask them to help you get set up. And if you can't get in touch with them, then please feel free to reach out to, you know, whoever your leaders are, whoever your, you know, whoever is above them and above them, okay? Like any of us will be happy to help you, okay? So, and if you're watching this on the replay or on our YouTube channel and you are still not a member with Young Living, my question to you is, what's holding you back, okay? Young Living has been in business for almost 25 years. They are the industry leader with essential oils, and we can see, like, you walk into a grocery store, essential oils are where it's at. And so if you want to be using essential oils in your life, then Young Living is the company you want to be using them from. Because not only are we an industry leader, but we are literally the only essential oil company that can truly make and deliver on the seed to seal promise. You never have to worry about any types of chemicals or additives or synthetics or whatever being put on in the seeds or on the plants as they're growing or into the oils when they're being distilled or bottled or anything like that. I mean, seriously, if you want pure, Young Living is what you want. So I hope that you will consider joining us, and our Essentially Powerful team is so amazing. We do all types of education like this every month, multiple times a month, and we are just an amazing tribe that would love to have you join us. So please reach out to the person who invited you to view this video, and he or she can help you get your account set up. If you don't have anyone who has invited you, if you've just kind of happened upon us on the internet, please reach out to us. We are on Facebook as Essentially Powerful, okay? Essentially Powerful Oil Team. I believe you can probably search us. Or you can, you know, just search it on Facebook and you'll find it, okay? And so that's it, guys. I hope that you have enjoyed learning about natural hair care and are going to utilize some of these tips and tricks that I've shown you. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see any of the comments at all during this, so I will go through and I will answer questions that you have and interact with you as soon as I am done. Okay? So I hope you all have a great night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.